There. Hold on one sec. All right, you guys, we are live, and I'm just double checking and making sure that we are good in our groups. If you guys get on with us, I know it's midday, so we wanted to get on here and share with you guys just really an incredible story. Tiffany's story, you will all be blown away by. But I want to start with this, okay? We're sharing this because we really want you to see how impactful you telling somebody about these products, what it can do for them, okay? So often we kind of hold back on the fear of whether it's social media or someone, oh, maybe they're going to like judge me for saying this or whatever it may be, right? But once you hear her story, you guys, I want you to understand you should never, ever feel like you need to hold back by just offering something that could help somebody. They say yes, they say no, that's up to them, right? So I want to introduce Tiffany, and I was able to hear her story maybe like 2 weeks ago that we last talked. And I was incredibly blown away. I knew okay, if you don't know this, by the way, Tiffany was like blowing up in sales. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, I was like, what is going on? And she's like, well, I have a really incredible story. And so we started talking. She shared with me her story. And I asked her if she would be okay coming on here with our team to share. So I want you guys to understand, as we did, like when Katie came on and shared her very personal story, this is a personal story for somebody. And it does take some time to get used to sharing it openly. Okay. So Tiffany, I just want to thank you so much. Everybody, can you read the comments, by the way? Can you see them or no? Probably not on your phone, huh?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Can you read the comments or no?
I'm not seeing any comments. Okay. No.
Well, if anyone asks questions, I'll ask you then because I can see all the comments.
Okay.
So I'll ask. I'll let you know if there are any. But I'm going to let Tiffany take it away. And Tiffany, if you could just start from the beginning of your kind of story and then where it led with into Turn On.
Okay. So what had happened before I tried Turn On was my health had been failing dramatically, and sorry, I have some short-term memory. You guys will have to bear with me and just redirect me and help me focus if I stall a little bit.
So Tiffany, start with what happened at the very beginning, like before, just your illness in general in the beginning.
Okay. All right. So I knew there was something seriously wrong with me, and I had actually been misdiagnosed with an autoimmune disease. Well, to step back further, at 19, I was diagnosed with leaky gut. And then, so I've had digestive issues my entire life. And so when my health started getting incredibly bad the last several years, they were thinking that maybe I had another autoimmune disease. And with autoimmune diseases, it's hard to diagnose because they have so many of the same similar symptoms and side effects and stuff. And so it's common for that to happen. And I didn't find out until way later what that diagnosis was, but I'll get to that. I'm skipping ahead. So I ended up in the hospital in March 15th for emergency surgery. I had been having internal bleeding in my upper GI area, and every time I went to the bathroom, pure blood. And I was basically bleeding to death. And we didn't understand at the time what all this meant. Sure. And so I am rushed into the ER, and I needed emergency surgery. And at the time, this was the height of COVID, and I was alone. You could not have any loved ones with you there. And I'm getting prepped for surgery, and I have a limited amount of blood to even start with. And as a Jehovah's Witness, I do not accept any type of blood. And so this incredible surgeon was so kind and loving and respectful. And he was like, do you understand that that you will probably not survive this operation if you do not have a blood transfusion? And I just said that I put my faith in my God and you. And either way, I know I have my faith in my next life. And so he ended up doing an amazing job and saved my life. And I had I think it was 1 pint of blood to work with. That's all he had. And out of that, he only lost 3 tablespoons of blood.
Wow.
And so after that, and by the way, I had to say goodbye to my husband over the phone. I said goodbye through a nurse's cell phone. And so to wake up was incredible, you guys.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so, but to survive that, only to find out that I was going to die anyways, that I had 3 months to live.
So Tiffany, when they woke you up, okay, when they woke you up, is that when they told you, we're just letting you know, we went through the surgery, but you only have 3 months? Or did they tell you that prior?
It was after, I think, some test results that came back. Okay. And they said that the way your body is failing, and basically you have 3 months, you have maybe 3 months to live if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And so, and then after I got the biopsy from my liver, that's when we found out exactly my timeline, really.
Yes. Right.
So, where next? Where was I next?
Okay. So then you woke up, you knew that you only had what was given 3 months to live. And then from that point, what happened?
So, I think I was in the hospital about 10 more days. They couldn't release me because my blood count was so low. Yeah. And also my body started to balloon out. I was retaining so much fluid that it was like Violet from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah. They kept teasing me, saying that we needed to take me to the pressing room, which kind of sort of happened. I had to have 2 liters of water drained from my body because my organs were under so much pressure that they were literally going to pop. My heart was going to explode. Wow. And so to get this fluid out of me was critical. And that was one, and I was re-administered into the hospital five times. And that was one of the times that I was re-administered after I left. Sorry, I get it kind of jumbled up because it was so many times I was in the hospital. It's a blur kind of. Yeah. Yeah. And so I had to lose about 25 pounds of fluid before they would even release me that time. But so it was just one thing after another. It was like, you're going to die. You're going to die. Okay, you lived through that. Okay, you're going to die. Okay, now you're getting sent home to slowly die. Yeah. And so it was a literal fight for my life every day. Yeah.
And so when you were going through that now, a couple months go by, and how were you then introduced to Trinot?
So my girlfriend, Christina, she was taking Trinot, and she has Lyme disease. And so she has a whole host of problems because of that. And she was telling me about how much it helped her gut. And she knew about my digestive problems and what I have to go through on a daily basis and stuff. And she's like, you got to try this, you know? And at the time, I was not absorbing any food. My body, it just wasn't absorbing anything. I was obese yet starving to death. And I was taking IV treatments, malnutrition IV treatments twice a week, $200 each treatment, and they lasted about, depending on what else I was having done at the time, um, 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. I would be there. And so I was on a liquid diet. I couldn't tolerate food. It wouldn't stay up. And when I did go to the bathroom, liquid. I didn't process anything. If I could eat salad, it came out salad. So I was not absorbing any food. I was starving to death, which also has another world of problems that come with that. And so I had lost 90% of my muscle. My hair, I had lost 70% of my hair. My skin changed. I had the jaundice, the yellow. I forgot to tell everyone what I was diagnosed with. So I ended up, through the biopsy, they found I have autoimmune hepatitis, which is a result of long-term leaky gut. And so autoimmune hepatitis is caused liver cirrhosis. So constant inflammation. And then I have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And so years of fad diets, high protein, high fat, low carb, wreaked havoc. I had actually lost my gallbladder in 2008. And so my liver was just getting double whammies all over, not realizing that for years I was probably having an autoimmune disease, that every time I had alcohol, cold medicine, pampering for cramps, just everyday toxins in the environment, my liver was having a 2-3 punch, just whammy after whammy. And so the scar tissue was just marbleized throughout my liver. I probably had 10% liver function. On a scale of the MELD score, which is your liver end of life, basically, on a scale from 0 to 50, I was at a 35. And so you count 35 backwards to 0, that's 3.5 months of life that they estimate.
That's what they were. Okay.
In order to get a liver transplant, I needed to get on that scale to 40 or to 50. So I'm at a 35. At 45, they won't even consider doing the surgery because your survival rate isn't possible. And so the whole time my goal was to get to this 50. And so so that was for the liver transplant. Where was I before that? That was the side note.
Then when Christina introduced you to she told you about the Enrich.
The Enrich. So that's where I was at this point. I was starving to death, liver failure. I couldn't walk. I needed assistance to walk. My feet were like footballs. And this was after I had been drained at the hospital. And so it was September. I was released from the hospital the end of May for the last time. Basically, they, wished me the best of luck and set me up with this amazing GI doctor. And so the Enrich. Okay, so wasn't absorbing anything. So September, I was told I was not going to live to see 40, which would have been August 25th. It is now September. I'm on borrowed time. I'm not even on the transplant list. I'm on a pre-approval list. And so the Enrich, I started taking in September. She's like, you got to try this. What have you got to lose? And I was like, nothing. And so when I went to see my doctor in November to go over where I was in order to get this transplant. He couldn't believe it when he saw me, because he said I looked like a different person already. And what had happened was the Enrich made it to where all the natural stuff I was doing, the nature path, I was doing IV treatments, frequency therapy. I was taking, doing these crazy charcoal packs and castor oil packs, and wrapping myself in saran wrap, trying to break down the scar tissue to buy me time for this transplant. And the Enrich made it to where all these things I was doing absorb and work. My body started to work. I started to have some normal bowel movements. I quit bleeding, because one of the reasons why I kept getting readministered into the hospital was every time I would have a bowel movement, it would re-injure where the surgery was. So, which is a side effect of the liver disease. Your blood is so thin, it doesn't coagulate. And so when I went back that November, after taking Trinot, the Enrich, for that amount of time, he was like astonished at my blood work. He was like, you would never believe that this many months ago, a blood transfusion was critical. And he's like, this is the most beautiful blood I've ever seen. He's like, this is the richest, beautifulest blood I've ever seen. And he's like, the only thing we need to do to get you on this transplant list is you need to get your blood to coagulate. And so this is all, you guys, just from Enrich, making all the programs I was doing,
able to absorb it and grab the nutrients.
It's incredible, right? And so the next thing I started to take was I think it was the one that creates the blood one, something to your blood.
Renew. Oh no, Boost.
Boost, right? Yes. So I started taking Boost and the collagen.
Yes.
I ended up going to see Christina in November for Thanksgiving break. The kids had a big weekend, and so we had a big couple days slumber party over at her house, and I was trying all the products, and this is where I was like, I have to have everything, you know. So that November I started taking the collagen, and then walking, you guys, walking was every step excruciating. I have neuropathy. I have broken vessels. They look like fireworks all up and down my legs. They were purple. And so she was trying to rub my feet for me, and to have people rub my feet, I couldn't even wear socks. I didn't want a blanket touching my feet in the hospital. And she put on the
muscle rub.
Was it Soothe?
Yeah. Did she put the muscle rub or the drops? I think she put the rub, right?
She did both.
Okay.
Because what happened was my leg was literally shaking in her hand. Like it was, where's the camera? It was like this, just vibrating like crazy. And I was like, I don't think I want you touching my feet. I don't feel comfortable, But when she started putting it on, I started to kind of relax, and I'm like, okay, yeah.
Right.
And then within minutes, maybe under 2 minutes, my leg stopped spasming really in her hand, and I was able to relax my foot and leg long enough for her to rub it. Wow. And I think at the time I was using a walker to get around and my cane, and I was kind of able to waddle around her house with these really thick socks I had on. And after I tried that, I was like, I'm convinced, I want to do everything. I want to try everything. Yeah. And so when you guys, this is so abbreviated. There's so much more. I could write a book.
Like almost an hour, and we're trying to keep it to like 30 minutes, you guys. So
yeah. Oh shoot. Okay.
Tiffany, when you started on the collagen and then the boost. With the
Right.
boost, they noticed that they noticed the blood started, did it start to
So
do that or?
so that December, right before winter break, is when I was supposed to meet with the liver specialist to go over the next steps, right? I had a month
Yeah.
to try to get this accomplished. And so between what my naturopaths were doing and taking this, when I went back in, you guys, this is the craziest thing ever, right? Um, when he was telling me that my blood was perfect.
Yeah.
It was perfect. And so I was like, okay, this is fantastic. When can we, get me on the list for the transplant? And he was like, you don't need a liver transplant. It's like, and I'm just staring at him, looking at this paperwork he gave me, and in disbelief. And and by the way, I had a, a guardian nurse with me who's basically a health advocate that my husband's insurance through his union provided.
Wow.
I forgot to mention her. Her name's Andy, and she basically helped me the whole time I was out of the hospital. And she saw this, you guys. She is a witness to how my body transformed to this,
Wow.
right? So she's sitting next to me and she's literally crying. And my doctor starts getting emotional because they had both just lost 3 patients before me. They
Wow.
lost 3 patients. And he kept calling me his star pupil and his I forgot what else he called me. Basically, I'm their success story.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when he said, "Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?" And my nurse Andy starts crying, and he pounds the table, and he goes, "You do not need a liver transplant." And and they both started screaming and
Yeah.
stomping their feet, and I went from dying, you guys,
Right.
to needing a life-saving transplant, and not any kind of transplant. I needed a blood transfusion free trans-
Right. Right.
transplant. And so I was going to go to another state. I had to go probably to Southern California where they perform such a surgery. I was probably going
Right.
to be gone for 3 months, and that was if there was no complications.
Right.
And so to hear that I was not going to have to go through this entire ordeal was insane. I am
Absolutely.
he said it himself, I am a walking, living miracle, you guys.
You absolutely are. And at that time when he told you that, so you had taken Enrich, Boost, and Collagen only
Only.
before. Okay. So those
Right.
were the three. And the collagen you did tell me like really helped with what you said with the veins, right? And then also
Mm-hmm.
with your like muscle tone, right? That
So
was
I think December, after all that happened, I had ordered like the biggest kit I think
yeah,
Trinot had, right?
yeah,
I took the rest of my GoFundMe money, and I was like, this is, I have the feeling that this is going to help
yeah,
in ways, it's going to help me be able to live a somewhat normal life, because I was told that um, I was not going to walk again.
yeah,
And what I was feeling was temporary, and that the neuropathy would eventually take back over, and
right.
as I got older, and I wouldn't be able to walk. And it was kind of funny because my doctor said that he loved me proving him wrong, and it
Yeah,
kind of became
yeah,
a joke. He'd
yeah.
be like, "Prove me wrong, I dare you."
Exactly. Exactly. And I meant to ask you this, I think I did, but did you show him these, supplements that you were taking?
No,
Okay.
only because I think under contract he cannot, but he encouraged it.
Yeah.
And he, I think eventually he does. I think it's because of contract reasons,
Sure.
but
Sure. Which is
he
sad, but yeah.
absolutely supported it 100%. Most doctors do not want you to do natural things while they're while you're under their care, especially
Right.
a specialist.
Yep.
And he was like, whatever you're doing, keep doing it, you know? And
Yeah.
then when I was taking all these things, I had started physical therapy.
Yes.
And my physical therapist kept challenging me because at the time I couldn't even stand on my tippy toes, you guys.
Right.
And by the time I left, I was doing 40 reps of going up and down on my tippy toes. And he would he couldn't believe the recovery that I would have because I would rest one day and then come back, and he just kept pushing me and pushing me, and I
Right.
just felt like I went from not being able to walk to feel like I could bounce, you guys.
Yep. And
Bounce.
did you take Optimize, the muscle
Yes,
recovery? Yeah, that's what I
yes,
thought.
that's when I was taking the
Yeah.
Optimize and stuff.
Yep.
And
So,
so,
wow. I mean, you
yeah,
guys, and like she said, this is a very, very shortened
so
version
abbreviated.
of what she's been through and what she's gone through. But can you tell them one other thing? You mentioned in the beginning, memory, okay? Going through
Memory.
all of this, you guys, going through all the malnutrition, everything like that, and going through everything you've gone through with the liver and everything, it affects obviously the memory, your neurotransmitters, all these different things. Tell them a little bit about your memory and how when you got on focus, what
Yes.
happened there a little bit.
So a side effect of liver disease is it creates a huge amount of ammonia in your brain, which causes massive brain fog. It's and then I got COVID 3 times, and that each time I had it, it attacked my neurological system, and so at the time I for the ammonia, I was taking one focus a day, right? After I had the last round of COVID, it turned to long COVID, and I had some short-term memory damage, and
Yes.
they still don't know if it's reversible or not. In fact, I was supposed to start cognitive therapy, and so all I did, you guys, was I added an extra focus. I went from making incredibly dangerous mistakes, almost lighting the house on fire several times, forgetting to pay bills, forgetting to take medication. Did I eat? I forget to do things to take care of my son. I felt like I was not a safe person to be around.
Right.
And so within a few days, I started to see the dramatic difference to where I was panicking. I thought I was going to have to get locked away
Right.
because my memory was so bad. And I haven't even had, like I said, I don't even know if I need to do cognitive therapy. I'm back to where I'm just the normal forgetful self
Right.
that I
Right.
was, which
Yeah.
that's pretty dang good from going to I feel like I'm going crazy to okay, I'm okay.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be
Oh my
okay.
gosh. Absolutely. Yeah. And that we can handle, those your body can, yourself can, those short-term things. That's like, I should say total, our mom brain, that's normal, right? Like we forget
Yes.
what we're talking about every second. But you guys, this is why I cannot express enough. This all started from Enrich, you guys. This all started from somebody saying, you got to try it. What do you have to lose? Right? Like, that's it. That's where this whole thing started. And now Tiffany was given about 3.5 months to live. And now tell them how long you've surpassed that.
It was exactly a year, March 15th.
Wow. So
And I
March,
was,
April, May, June.
yeah.
So yeah. So we're at like 15 months.
And then,
Incredible.
yeah. So,
And you're
well, it
feeling
was
like,
exactly a year, March 15th, that I
yeah.
went in for surgery,
Oh, got it,
emergency
got it, got it.
surgery.
Okay, that you
Yeah.
went in for surgery. Okay, so maybe almost a little less than a year past what they've given you, but you guys, you understand again, like this is absolutely incredible to know that again, we have our hands on these incredible products, and it's almost like, and I'm just saying this because again, it's almost selfish for us not to be sharing this because Tiffany would have never heard about it. Never.
I wouldn't
And
be
that's
here.
Right, right. Like this is, I mean, you guys, that is something that is so incredibly insane to think if we hold back because we're worried about someone's opinion or we're worried about, all you have to do is say, listen, try it. And if you don't want to, they can make that decision, right? Give them the facts, let them know, and that's it. And you can literally change somebody's life. Like that is what is so, so incredible about this. Tiffany, I just want to thank you so much because I know it is not easy to share that story. I know,
It's
remembering all the
emotional.
timelines and trying to shorten it up and all the things. But we really, really, we appreciate you. We pray for you. We love on you. And I'm just so grateful that you're here with us and that you can, share your story to help other people and to show our team the same thing. And Christina, absolutely. Without Christina, and this is the beauty, you guys, remember, we share because we share and then other people share and then other people share. Tiffany's going to inspire somebody else's life. She's going to change somebody else's life, who's then going to go do that. And it's a ripple effect all the way, which is why it's just so, so beautiful. Because without Christina, Michelle, if Michelle never shared it, Christina would have never heard it. Tiffany would have never heard it. If I never shared it, Michelle wouldn't have, and so on. So you guys understand that what you have your hands on is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So Tiffany, I just want to thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you coming on here. I know you can't read the comments, but everybody is like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you so much, you guys. We will talk soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.